Thank you so much for being with us here this evening. We are about to embark on an incredible journey. Will you please join us? Welcome, Nancy.
Welcome, Nancy.
Thanks for coming to the show. I hope you enjoy it. Get ready.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome, Nancy.
Thanks for joining the show.
Welcome, Nancy.
This evening.
Welcome, Nancy.
Join us.
Welcome, Nancy.
Hope you enjoy the show.
Come on, people. Welcome, Nancy.
Listen to the voices of the actors. Each of us will guide you through a meditation. Just sit, notice what comes through your mind, and accept it without judgment. Breathing deep.
One of the things that drew me when you first talked about what it was the genuine universalness of it. Like, I feel like my perception of theater so often is a postmodern critique of, you know, hipster Luddism in the 17th century, you know, and it's very abstract and high, and this is... We're going to do a show about the fear of death, and that's not something that anybody has any difficulty relating to. Everybody experiences that. So how are people going to react? I think if there's genuine, actual, real juice, you know, we're actually being vulnerable with our fear of death, you can't help but connect with that, because it's a universal fear, you know. So to the degree that's there in us, I think people have to connect to it, and it's a universal thing.
Sweet pollen sprinkles through the sky and lies on the ground, coating it. Vines spiraling, twirling up the trees and across the path that we walk on. And it seems as if there's a group of men standing afar in the distance. We walk up to them, and it's a group of tribesmen with beautiful symbols all over their chests and faces, colorful. The one man points northward and states, a spring of rejuvenation.
I don't know, I feel like it's different for any person that might see the play, because they can think of it in their own way if they want to. Because it's not really like a show where it's like, oh, this is the idea of it, and you have to think of it like that. It's kind of more of a show where...
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're actors, watch us say our lines. I'm saying my line now.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's more of us just... I don't know, I think anyone can think of it in a different way.
And as you push this door open, you notice that you have stepped inside of the king's chambers. The first thing you see is the king lying in bed, surrounded by 3 women. You notice that these are his daughters. And as you stand there watching, the king begins to speak. He says, "You must go and fetch the waters of life for me, or I will die." And at this, his daughters rise. They turn and make their way out of the chambers. You rise and follow them back through the corridor, out the front door of the castle, and into the forest ahead.
Out of the ground, the Lord God made to grow.
The Lord God.
Every tree that is comfortable to the sight and good for food. The tree of life in the middle of the garden. And the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Good and evil.
A river flows out of Eden to water the garden. Picture the river flowing. Picture the river flowing. Take a deep breath. Open your eyes and join us.
I liked the meditations that we did at the beginning, because it really helped me know why I'm doing it and not just know what to do and what line to say. I just, like, when we really thought about it, like, I knew why I was making the decisions I was.
The fountain! Is it on for you? No. Come on.
people, death travels with you, and so the fountain will not flow.
Death travels with you will never travel. Idiotic explorer. Death travels with you, so the fountain will not flow. Are you deaf? Can you not hear me? Death travels with you, so the fountain will not flow.
He set off, wondering what boons we may win through the discovery of the fountain. We found a beautiful fountain, carved by the ancient hands of who we thought maybe the same tribesmen who pointed us in the direction by the virtue of the fountain's power. But the fountain was dry. A voice came to us echoing through the trees. Death travels with you, and so the fountain will not flow.
In the deepest depths of the furthest forest from their castle home, the princesses found the fountain. Now, they could see that it was carved by the delicate hands of elves and fairies. But the fountain was dry. Well, just then, a voice came echoing through the trees, saying, "Death travels with you, and so the fountain will not flow."
You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For if you eat from it, you will certainly die. Now the Lord God had made to grow out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in its garden.
Death travels with you, and so the fountain will not
What's going on?
flow.
All the wild animals
And
all the
I'm
birds
not-
in the sky.
Oh, I'm not. I think they're trying to tell us something.
Can you tell us why?
They're trying to help us.
Help us? What are they
All
trying
the
to
wild
say?
animals and all the birds in the sky.
They're trying to help us.
Okay, with what exactly?
To overcome.
Okay, so they're trying to help us overcome.
Yeah. To overcome death.
Okay, they're trying to help us overcome death, so we're going to listen to you. You're trying to help us. Maybe we should sit with them. Okay.
So bad.
Somebody's trying to help us do something.
because on other shows, mainly the people get what you're trying to say and the message about, like, because you're talking and everything. you're saying lines about what you're supposed to do. But in this show, you're like expressing yourself with dance, with soundscapes and poses of the trees.
The fountain! The fountain! Okay. Try again.
Death travels with you, and so the fountain will not flow.
Come on, guys, come on.
Death travels.
Do you not listen to us?
Death travels not.
Are you deaf?
Serious?
Fountain will not flow.
Fountain
Yes.
will never.
Death travels with you. Death. Fountain will not flow.
Death from their mind, the three princesses could still feel death's decay, even within their young bodies. Well, just then, the fairies of the forest emerged to bring them a potion that might liberate them from the feeling of their own eventual mortality.
Though they had purged the idea of death from their minds, the expedition could still sense the decay of death plaguing their aging bodies. Suddenly, the tribesman was among them again, with a strange herbal mixture that might liberate them from their feeling of eventual mortality.
Then they looked at each other and realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together to make clothing.
Ha!
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 Take, eat of the fruit. Tell me your vision.
I see freedom.
Freedom!
Freedom.
Ha!
Ha!
Take, eat of the fruit, and tell me your vision.
I see the sun.
The sun!
Sun.
Ha!
Ha!
Take, eat of the fruit, tell me your vision.
I see unknown.
Unknown! Ha!
Ha!
Take, eat of the fruit, tell me your vision.
I see hunger.
Hunger! Ha!
It was like we didn't really learn any lines. We were just expressing ourselves. We weren't becoming a character. We became ourselves and really explored who we are as people.
After our initial rehearsal with them, which was just awkward all around for all of us because we had no idea how to teach them and they had no idea what we wanted from them. And it was just a lot of us standing and being like, okay, well, let's do this. And they were like, no. As the weeks progressed, it was so cool to see that where we had struggled in places of going to these new uncharted territories, the kids were just so willing to go. And that inspired something in me, and I'm sure it did for Julie, that hadn't been found in those 2 weeks when it was just the adult ensemble working. It was this new added layer of fearlessness and just the willing to just do whatever the heck we asked of them, which you don't find working with adults because we're all so judgmental. There is such a beautiful thing with youth and just this vulnerability that they're willing to just show and they don't even know it. They don't even know they're doing it. They're like, oh, you want me to roll around on the floor? Okay. You want me to scream? All right. I can do this. Yeah. And then you're looking at them and you're like, well, why couldn't I do that? Like, why did it take me 2 weeks to get that and it took them 2 hours?
They don't think about it. They don't know enough to feel stupid yet, and I'm so jealous. Wish it was that easy, you know, we start thinking and we learn things, and it's so hard all of a sudden.
I like dancing, and I like the part where I get to eat candy. Because at first when I had to eat it, it was like the red gumdrop, and I was like, oh! And I wanted to like stab myself in the face. But then I got to eat the orange one, and it was okay, so I was like, okay.
I'm standing in front of a long line of trees. And I realize I'm faced with a choice. To go back through the field that I just come from, or see what lies ahead of me through the forest. I decide to make my way through the first layer of trees. And as I begin to peel back the branches, I notice that some of them are dry. Some of them are sticky, and I can feel the sap still on my fingers after I let go. And I'm starting to notice the sound of birds chirping in the distance. And I begin to look upward and take note of the light that's streaming in towards me, being interrupted on its way down by the branches and the leaves of the trees that are covering me from the hot sun.
It's being an artist is about knowing who you are and being able to tap into places that will bring out emotions and affect an audience and bring them on a journey. And through this, I've been able to find out a lot about myself.
I feel like it was easy to lose sight of that through school.
Right.
Losing sight of why I initially fell in love with the arts.
Right.
And this brought me back to a place where I was like, oh, this is why it means so much to me. This is why I do what I do. Not because I want to stand up on stage and talk for 2 hours, but because I want to share something. I want to touch people in a way that most people can't.
Right, and I have the ability to do that and to search within myself to pull out these emotions and affect other people and take them on a journey with me. So soft and hot. I pick it up in my hands and I rub it between my fingertips and my palms and I let it run through my hands. So soft. And all of a sudden I see a bird soaring through the sky. I watch him. And all of a sudden I see him change direction. And that's when I see it. Dark, stormy, black clouds are moving in. And then there it is. There's lightning. And then the thunder begins to roll and I can feel it vibrating from my body. And I feel it. I wrap my hands around my chest. And I can feel the goosebumps growing on my skin. And the waves that go on the night, therapeutic, are now and dangerous.
asked about it today, and I explained it to them as basically the whole point is the actors are showing themselves, like real emotional vulnerability in a variety of spots and scenarios, and in so making themselves vulnerable, inviting the audience to connect to that same place in themselves. And so self-discovery of the actor leads to self-discovery of the audience.
And you? And you? What do you see? Will you take of the fruit? Will you come up and take of the fruit and tell me your vision? Will you have the courage to look inside at death and at life and at infinity and everlasting and see what you see? Come on up! Take of the fruits!
Tell us what you see.
No, absolutely not.
Some more.
Take of the fruits, eat, and tell me your vision. Come on.
I'm underwater.
Underwater!
Yes. The challenge of, you know, I know the way I often work is like I like to do it right and something to get out of it all works, but it's really hard sometimes to make a crazy choice and not know, like, you know, what am I doing? I wish I had a little more structure. So it's gotten easier the more we do the piece because you start to find routines and it's still always new, but first discovering it was kind of crazy at times, and when it becomes really real, I think it sometimes gets really scary. That's what's cool about it, but sometimes it's just so raw and real because there's no script and there's no structure. It's like you're just dealing with those emotions, you know?
Oh, there it is.
Death still travels with you. Fountain will not. Come on, I'm getting tired of seeing the faces that death travels with you. No! Death travels. Get away! No! By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your bread until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return.
Suddenly the explorers became aware of another puzzle amongst them. They remembered an old man who had died on the crossing of a terrible fever. When the coffin is shuttered, one of their own exposed that the pox was still amongst them, and they would die if they could not get the fountain to flow.
Will they have to feel death in the water? You were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return.
Its unyielding visage.
When the coffin is shuttered,
There's no living. What was that? No. No. I'm not ready for this. This can't be happening. Who says that you get to decide when this happens? Why? With your loud bang? Why do you get to decide? This is my life! My life! Why do you get to decide?
I'm lying alone in the darkness, and I can feel somebody standing outside my window, and it's a terrible presence. And I feel like the walls are closing in on me, and I don't know what to do, and I'm all alone, and I have nowhere to go. And then all of a sudden I hear clink, 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 clink. The door handle of my house, and he's in my house, and he's walking up the stairs, and each step gets closer and closer and closer, and he's at my room! Make him go away! Make him leave me alone! I got to keep going. I know I need to keep pushing forward. And I can't give up now because I'm strong. Give up now. And there's somewhere else. There's somewhere else for me. I need to keep pushing forward and know that I'm going to be okay. I'm courageous and I'm brave and I can do this on my own. I am alone, but I can do this.
There it is.
So then I see the 4 images standing off in the distance, but I know them. Be free. I know these 4 people. And they're waiting for me, and they're going to take me, and it's going to be okay. I just need to keep pushing forward. I'm going to be okay.
It comes for you.
This is it.
Death.
Yes. This is it. We're going to be okay. We're going to be free now. We're ready. We're ready to go. We're not scared of you. We're ready. And it's going to be with me. And I'm going to be at ease. And I'm not going to be scared. I'm living up. I'm not being this evil. I thought. Freedom and peace. I'm living your own right. I'm going to be free. Finally free. Free from all the pain. I love every moment here. And I'm ready to go somewhere else. And to be. And if they try me on the other side, it's coming for me. I'm ready. I can go a little longer. I know I'm going to be okay. It'll all be over. I know I'm going to be all right. Because they're waiting for me, and I know these people who are waiting for me over there. And yeah, I'm leaving here now. Serpent. And I'm ready for something new. I'm not scared of you. You can take me. I'm ready. Just take me. Yes, I'm ready. Just take me.
As always, it's the emotional energy goes upside down. Like, you know, at the very beginning you asked the question, what was the hardest and what was the easiest? I thought the coolest thing was when you actually felt the energy build. And everybody was fully invested and there and present. And the hardest part was maintaining that. So, you know, watching the show, we have the elements, but to me what makes it successful is when everybody's bringing the emotional heat, for lack of a better term. And it falters when that drains out to a degree, and so watching it go up and down, I think.
My turn is over. My time is up. It is enough. It is enough. Fear, worry, anguish, sadness, agony, anger, trying so hard, not knowing what to do, not knowing what will happen, not knowing where to go, agony, sadness, loneliness. Enough! 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 I see white light. Peace. Calm. No more worry. No more trying. It's done. Enough. I am enough. I am enough. The world is changing, you know, the whole, it's so hard to drag people to any show in this day and age to get people to appreciate art. It's, you know, that idea, maybe we need new things to attract audiences. And, you know, while this type of theater might be very different, maybe what we need is something more real. And, you know, it won't work for everybody, but I think I came to realize, you know, something like this is really expressive, and it may scare me, but I've gotten so much out of it, and I've learned a lot from it, and I'm excited to be in it, that, you know, it may take time, but the change is what you need. Let them hear what the Lord has to say. To the one who overcomes, I will give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is the paradise of God. To all those who have ears, let them hear what the Lord has to say.
Who wants to overcome? I will get the right to eat from the tree of life. Blessed are those who cross the roads. May they have the right to eat from the tree of life. And may they have the right to walk into the city. To all those who have ears, let them hear what the Lord has to say.
The water flows!
Let the people rejoice!
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 The water rejoice! The water flows! Let the people rejoice! The water flows!
Yes, it flows! The water rejoice!
The water flows!
The people rejoice!
It flows!
I think what's so cool about this kind of style, I guess you could call it, that's being created, is that there's such an endless amount of topics that can be explored. And
Right.
even if you revisit a topic and you do it with a completely new group of actors, it's not going to be the same show ever. You're not going to approach it the same way. They're not going to come at it, like if death ever comes up again down the line, it's not going to be this. It's
Right.
going to be a completely new experience, and whatever that may be, it is. But I just think that it's so great that this is something that can ever evolve and never actually be a stagnant thing. There may be a structure and a way to go about doing it that makes it easier
it
than
can
this, like,
consistently
what the
change.
heck's happening? But the idea that there is literally never actually going to be, like, a right or wrong way to approach any topic that comes up through the devised process, I think is just the coolest part.